from the June 1980 edition. On the afternoon of XX at 2 p.m., office employee XXXX and his wife XXXX of Hinamizawa village in Shishibone Prefecture disappeared after falling 27 meters from the observatory platform in Shirakawa Prefecture. Okay. Police and firefighters searched downstream and discovered the body of XXXX at around 7 p.m. that evening. His wife XXXXX has yet to be found. The search has run into difficulties due to the effects of Typhoon 3 from the previous day. It appeared a railing at the observatory that the XX's leaned on had broken, causing him to fall. The groundskeeping staff was questioned by the police in regards to facility deterioration and if park maintenance was performed properly. Okay, so guy just died. So this is Hojo. But this isn't one of the guys who died. Wait, no. That is the guy who died. The first guy was a dismemberment guy who dismembered the guy and then disappeared forever. This right here was the guy who disappeared, who he supported the damn construction, and then he disappeared. So the terminal illness death of Shinto priest Furude. This is the guy we heard about who had an unknown illness and just died. From the June 1981 edition. On the afternoon of XX around 10 p.m. in the X district of Hinamizawa village in Shishibone Prefecture, the Shinto priest of the Furude shrine passed away after an existing condition he was recovering from suddenly worsened. So he was recovering from the thing. Parties close to the deceased said he was suffering from anxiety issues concerning the festival, which was to be held that day. Also, after XXXX's death, his wife XXXX went missing, leaving behind a farewell note. The police and local youth association continued the search. However, given the presence of the farewell message and the fact that the Onigafuchi marsh is said to be bottomless, they have run into difficulties. Okay, so not much about that. Housewife murder. Not much new information. It wasn't reported in the newspaper. There is no way that is the whole tip. It wasn't oh my god, that's actually fucking heat. It wasn't reported in the newspaper, and that's it. That's actually fucking amazing, dude. This is when shit gets serious. This is when everything fucking matters. Okay, we saw this last time. This is Okinomiya Station calling Unit 3. Unit 3, please respond. This is Unit 3, loud and clear. Backup is heading your way. Hold position until further instructions. Over. Roger. Unit 3 acknowledged. Requesting no headlights. Requesting radio silence. Station, the doctor has arrived. They want to carry it away. What's the order? Over. Acknowledged. Leave it to the doctor. Affirmative. Understood. Backup has arrived. Shouldn't we let them take a photo first? I think the Vic is done for. So, this is to imply that someone did die, and now we will be seeing them. We will be seeing, such. And it's saved, and we continue. Last time we heard a lot about these cases, or at least the existence of a curse where someone dies the day of a particular festival that they host in Hinamizawa, and now it seems that it will continue. Good morning. Nice job yesterday, Kei-chan. You didn't do so badly yourself, Mion. Yesterday was fun. Oh, that's right, Keiichi-kun. Thank you very much. For Mr. Bear, we want a bear. Glad you like it. Don't use it as a pincushion, though. I wouldn't. Okay. still chatting happily. Okay, what the fuck ever. We entered the classroom, but the moment I stepped into the room, a splashing sound and a nasty sensation. It was a bucket filled to the brim with water, and unfortunately my foot stepped right into it. My now, how diligent of you to mop the floor this morning. Clomp, 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 whip, whiff. Blah. Keiji-san flicked my forehead. You should set a more brutal trap next time. Seeing that, Reina began to swoon as Mion looked on dejectedly. Everything was the same as always. Everybody was there and nothing felt out of place. The uncertainties I had in the back of my mind since yesterday had vanished. What is it, Keiichi-kun? Didn't get enough sleep, maybe? Maybe? I slept like a log, but if you want, we'll do a reenactment during class. You shouldn't do that. Mion alerted us that the teacher was coming, so everyone shuffled off to their seats. Who is the teacher? Are we gonna see him ever? Good morning, everyone. So yesterday was a festival. Thank you to all the people who stayed up until the very end to help clean up. We were all slackers, and none of us actually helped clean up. Actually, I had a feeling that the only thing we did was run around the festival and cause a ruckus. Okay then, this time of year, you might see some people here from out of town doing interviews about the festival for magazines. Thought it was the usual stuff, so I was going to tune it out, but then I noticed a different tone in her voice and started paying attention. You may be asked questions. Please don't say anything silly or something that could be taken the wrong way. Do you understand? In unison, everyone replied, yes, ma'am. What she said was really vague, but I understood what she was trying to say. After all, this was the 5th year. There were probably lots of third-rate reporters pouring in, hoping something regarding the curse had happened. It did nothing but perpetuate the village's bad image. She was saying, don't spout stupid shit you think is funny. Now, I was one of the ones who need to keep their mouths shut. I found it rather cute how I felt a sense of unity from such a trite thing, if I do say so myself. I really don't know what's gonna happen from here on out. Of course someone did die, but like, I have no idea. Everything before this, it was like, okay, when is something gonna happen so I actually have anything to comment on, and now things are happening and I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't have anything to comment on regarding what I think is gonna happen. I was summoned to club activities after school. Since everybody was still pretty tired from yesterday, we just spent the day relaxing. Yeah, that wasn't happening. What? Huh? Today, let's play a classic game of deduction. How about this one? Oh, a game from overseas. Looks interesting. It's Clue. They're playing fucking Glue. The instructions are in English, but the rules don't seem that hard. I won't lose here. I'm not too bad at this game. It seemed that Reina didn't handle this kind of game very well. Evidently so. The rules are the person who can match the murder, weapon, and the scene of the crime wins. It is Clue. There were 3 kinds of cards comprised of suspects, weapons, and locations. I could see that the names Mion and Rika were written on the suspect cards. Oh, a card with my name on it as well. There are plenty of different weapons too, like knives, axes, and poison. All thing that Reina has in her home right now. The locations are pretty nice too, like the living room, the study, and the courtyard. So basically, you take out one of each of the cards. These are the answer cards. So we shuffle the remaining cards and hand them out. We ask each other about the cards and figure out the right ones. I see, so the cards nobody has are the true perpetrators. Then you raise your hand if you know the answer. The game ends when we check if the answer is correct. If you're right, then you get a point. If you're wrong, then you lose a point. Since the game ends, even if no one gets it right, all the cards are gathered up and redistributed. You'll learn as you go. You really have to use your brain. You'll get confused if you don't take notes. The rest you can figure out by playing. So Mion, what's the penalty this time? Everyone directed their attention to Mion. Let's see, we're all still a little tired from yesterday, so maybe we'll take it easy with a gopher penalty. You'll be asked to rush out and buy stuff for everyone. So just being asked to go buy stuff like drinks and candy, I guess. I feel like the penalty today is pretty simple. I wonder, is it really? Is Keiichi-san thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah, you don't know what you'll have to go buy. I'm betting Mion would send out whoever loses to buy stuff like hemorrhoid cream or happy family planning manual or other crazy stuff. The cards were lightly shuffled and passed out to each player. The real perpetrator, the correct weapon, and the scene of the murder have been taken outside. Means all the cards I have in my hand are innocent cards. Then I'll go first since I'm the club president, I guess. Well then, Mion, knife study. You pick one suspect, weapon, and murder scene and ask each person if you have any of those cards, and you must say, I have one. However, you don't need to say which one you have. Yeah, I got it. Me too. I have one. Oh my, all of them are here. 3 people answered when she asked if they had Mion, knife, and study. So that means Mion, knife, and study are all in the clear. Gotta jot that down. Then I'll go Reina, Axe, Lounge. Only 2 people said they had one, so it means out of Reina, Axe, and Lounge, one of them is correct and is part of the crime. Wow, I wonder if this is gonna be important later. Wait, even if they say they have one, they don't have to say how many. It's possible that either SpongeBob or Rika has 2 of the cards. Well, Kei-chan is next to go ahead. I'm still sorting things out. The game has me thinking more than I thought. Oh man, this feels like it's going to be tough. Yeah. I wonder if this is at all related to the case and how we're gonna have to figure out what the hell happened. Except maybe not. Maybe shit's just sort of gonna happen. And Keiichi's just gonna be along for the ride. What, already? Here I am spinning around in circles and Mion just now raises her hand. The murderer is Rika-chan in the infirmary with the poison. Well, Mion drew the cards from the box and we checked to see if her deduction was right. You were right. All I needed was one more hand. I couldn't tell whether it was poison or a pistol. I never use a pistol. I like killing them slowly with poison. Rika-chan said such a hugely terrifying thing with such a sweet little face. Everyone was making a commotion about how they almost had it. Reina and I were left out in the cold though. How did you do, Keiichi-kun? I couldn't get it at all. Don't worry, I had no idea either. How can you both be so unsure? You'll both end up in last place together at this rate. That's even worse. Going off buying something together as a couple. What if we ended up having to buy the Happy Family Planning Guide? Yeah, I can tell from Keiichi's expression that he's not very good at this game. What? That's not true. I'll show you the true power of Sherlock Maibara during the next round. My, that sounds just wonderful. I shall give you quite the thrashing. After that I managed to somewhat grasp the trick behind the game, but I was still always a step or 2 behind. I saw that Mion was somehow gleaning information from how the others were asking their questions. That level of experience was just too much. The only way I could stage a comeback was if I became ruthless. Tossed out the simple concept of deduction and switched over to the thought process needed to win. The important thing isn't to find out the criminal, it's to win at the game. Eureka. I wonder if that's gonna be an important sentiment. Sorry, you need to go to the bathroom. Take your time and squeeze out a nice one. Shut the fuck up, Mion. Michan, that's gross. I had them hold off the game and headed down to the hall. Cheating, literally fucking cheating. The air was crisp. It showed just how stagnant the air in the classroom was from our body heat. On the school grounds, some of our classmates were still playing around. After spending some time cooling my head, Reina had made her way over towards me. Keiichi-kun, did you call for me? Yeah, I did. As I got up from my seat, I winked over at Reina. I'm glad it worked out. I don't want to waste much time, so I'll get right to the point. Reina, what's your record at this game we're playing today? She was taken aback. After a moment, she hesitantly opened her mouth. Well, all losses. Why do you ask? I wonder. I could tell from how apprehensively she was playing. The way things are going, I will as well. I can't figure out a way to pull off a last-minute comeback on this one. So, I guess both of us will be taking that penalty. Hey, don't accept defeat already. How about we win this? Both of us. But how can we? I brought my lips up to Reina's ear. Whisper, whisper, whisper. Oh, is that allowed? No, did you forget, Reina? The second rule of our society. Do everything in your power to obtain victory. You're just gonna like cheat? Yeah, I'll try my best. These are my cards, Keiichi. Wow, wow, thank you for showing them to me and nobody else. Our plan of attack was quite a rudimentary one. At the beginning of the game, everyone would be focused on their own hand for a while, taking notes and whatnot. Since our seats were right next to each other, we'd reveal our hands to each other. If we did it under the desk, then nobody would know. We begin the game with twice as much information as everybody else. Having this much information would mean we need to investigate less. With this sort of plan of attack, we'd start off with a big lead over the other guys. Yeah, with this we can probably win. We both smirked at each other. If I was the shady businessman, then Reina was the corrupt senator. Pleasure doing business with you, then let's hurry back. We'll work as a duo to surprise everyone. Hey now, there's no point if we go back together. It would be like flat out telling them we made a little arrangement. Oh sorry, then what you do? Go back ahead of me, Reina. I'll take my time coming back. After washing my face or something. Okay, got it. Reina turned around and headed back to the classroom. I guess I should wait a bit longer before going back. If I went too soon, it would seem like I went to the bathroom. If Mion or one of them suspected something, then there could be problems. Well, they'd figure it out. They'd figure it out sooner or later because both Reina and I would start winning over and over again. Both Reina and I will have earned enough points to avoid being the losers by the time Mion realized what was happening. Excellent, not bad at all. Hey, Barakun, may I have a moment? It's it's the teacher! Man, things are just getting good. What is it? I'm a bit... You have a guest. Please make your way to the entrance. A guest? It's not like I own a hotel. They have been waiting, please hurry. It was rather unfortunate that I have someone waiting on me right before my big match, but I was more interested in the unexpected guest. I didn't want to waste any time, so I decided to take care of it quickly. Who could it be? The entryway was a heavy contrast from the hot sunlight and deep shadows. Who the hell? Waiting there looking uncomfortably warm was a middle-aged man, his tie sloppily loosened and his jacket tucked underneath his arm. Okay, let's see it. Let's see the guy. What he looks like. How do I... Damn. You know, I still gotta be honest. I think the original still looks better. But not by much, honestly. It's not like it's whatever. Are you Meibar-san? Keiichi Meibar-san? There was no question that he wasn't a resident of Inamizawa, and that this was without a doubt the first time he had met me. Ever since I met Tomitake-san, I've been running into so many middle-aged men. That's right. Who might you be? I have the AC on in my car, let's talk there. It's a bit hot here, don't you think? Okay, Keiichi, you're not gonna go into a random middle-aged guy's car. You're not gonna do that. The man completely ignored my question, pointed over to his car, parked near the gate, and began walking. You gotta be fucking kidding me. I had no intention of going along with some geezer I didn't even know. He was asking me to get in his car with him? You're not gonna do it, Keiichi. I'm not gonna bite. Come on now. He opened the back door of his car and called me over. I didn't like this old man, but I wanted to know what this was about, even while knowing that conversations that start out like this have never led to anything good. And he's just sitting in a fucking middle-aged guy's car. The inside of his car was pretty cool. Cars with air conditioners was supposed to be a luxury. My dad didn't have one in his car, at least. Please let me know if it's too cold for you, okay? I have a habit of cranking it all the way up. So what business do you have with me? Out of spite, I decided to ignore his remark in the same way he did to me, and start my own line of questioning. He pulled out a notepad from his pocket and took out a picture that was stuck between the pages. Who could it be? On it was the face of a pretty goofy-looking guy. If you know anything related to this individual, then please tell me. Who the fuck is this? I doubt even his close friends would be able to recognize who he was from this expressionless picture that it looked like it was taken at the DMV. There were scribbles on his shirt done in permanent marker, starting with yours, Meibar-san, and quite a few of your classmates signed as well, huh? This is Tomitake-san. There was no hint of his usual unreliable and easygoing personality in this photo. It was an expressionless, half-asleep face. Then, do you know this woman? Even before seeing it, I had a good idea of who it was. It's the fucking woman. I don't remember her name, but she's some lady who was with Tomitake-san last night. I didn't know what her name was, but I did know she was a resident of Inamizawa. Despite what the teacher said, Keiichi just blabbed the whole fucking truth and said shit that he probably shouldn't be saying. Was the last time you saw these two, the night of the Watanagashi. We spoke. They seemed pretty close, I guess. Did anything bother you about them? Anything is fine. Go ahead and say it. Being asked for every little detail is very troubling, honestly. I had a pretty good idea of who this guy was by now. Did something happen to them? There was no response to my inquiry. Thus, I replied to that silence in kind. I was pretty sure, no, certain that this guy was a cop. Then why? Why was he asking about Tomitake-san? Did something happen to him? More importantly, why me? Shouldn't there have been plenty of other people who knew more about him than I did? The roar of the air conditioner felt unbearably loud. For a long pause, he finally spoke again. You moved here just recently, isn't that right, Meibara-san? Are you aware, I wonder, about the series of the stories of Oyashiro-sama? My heart began to race. I'm pretty terrible at hiding things. It probably showed on my face. Not at all. If you don't, then it's fine. Well, I have heard of it. Fucking blabbing everything. Tomitake-san told me, actually. How much do you know about it? The dismemberment killing, the accidental death, the death by illness followed by suicide, and the lady who was beaten to death. The incidents that always happened the day of the Watanagashi, ending in suspicious deaths. I didn't think Tomitake-san would have kept anything from me. I think that was everything. No, rather, I didn't want to think that there was anything more than that. Know of that, well, curse, Meibara-san. Free to speak openly about it. I don't believe in it. The answer was instant. It wasn't so much that I didn't believe in it as I was on the verge of believing. I wanted to clear away my own doubts. That was a more prominent feeling. Really? Then that's great. So you really are one of those city-raised boys. So what if I don't believe? I have friends waiting, so could you get to the point? The man in this picture is dead. He is fucking dead.
Died.
My mind went blank, huh? What happened to Tomitake-san? It would seem that he died last night. That was the night of the Watanagashi. Do you understand the implications behind that, Meibara-san? Implications, not any for the cause of his death or the reasons behind it. The real problem was that he died on the day of the Watanagashi, meaning this year, the curse of Oyashiro-sama had once again. The death of Jiro Tomitake is so confidential. You can understand why that is, right? I didn't want to understand why. Please tell me. Tell me what happened. It was rather peculiar. It might be a little too graphic for someone born and raised in Inamizawa. It was a roundabout way of saying it, but it caused me to doubt whether or not I wanted to hear the rest. I would only regret forcing myself to learn something I shouldn't. Or at least that's how I figured I would feel if I listened to the rest. One of our patrol cars discovered the body on the way back from security detail at the festival. It was late, about 5 till midnight. The location was, where the road in the town, where it becomes, paved, right? Down past, the slope on the shoulder, around there. There were few streetlights on that road. Its pitch black darkness was only broken by the lights of passing cars and the moon. It was a stroke of luck that Tomitake-san was spotted collapsed on the shoulder of the road. Tomitake-san was face down, covered in blood. Blood and muck covered the asphalt. We thought it was a hit and run at first, but when the officer checked to see if he was still alive, he quickly noticed something abnormal. His throat had been ripped open from a knife or something? No. Nails. Nails? As in fingernails with those he clawed through? From the coroner's report, it was revealed that it was with his own nails. Huh? What does that mean? Basically, it means it wasn't a murder, it was suicide. Likely fucking story. Tomatake-san thought there was a reason to tear open his own throat. As hard as he could with his own nails, tore through the skin until he started to bleed, and even then Tomatake-san didn't stop. He continued clawing with enough intensity that he could have peeled off his nails, still clawing. Then, as his nails reached those vital arteries that he should never damage, he continued clawing. Splurt! Blood splattered on the ground around him. As he bled, while gasping for breath, he collapsed, his body spasmed, and he died in agony. We thought drugs were to blame, but nothing of that nature was detected. But it was suicide? I've never heard of such a thing. It's a natural way of dying. If this wasn't a mysterious death, then what was? The way he died. In these 5 years, his death most resembled that of a curse. As if to show both myself and Tomatake-san, who proclaimed there was no such thing as a curse, that we were wrong. Okay, well, there were a few more suspicious details from his body chemistry, perspiration, epilation, and so on. We concluded that he was in a state of hysteria right before his death. That was a given. It's hard to believe someone could be in a sound state of mind while clawing out their throat. Wounds on his hand matched a discarded piece of lumber found nearby. There are traces of where he struck trees and the guardrails within. Tomatake-san's blood was found all over the place, meaning that while tearing at his own throat, he was swinging around the piece of lumber. There were external injuries, which were not self-inflicted, discovered on Tomatake-san. There is a high probability Tomatake-san was assaulted. The external injuries suggest there may be multiple suspects. To summarize, Sumari, in other words, Tomatake-san was surrounded and attacked. While wandering the night roads in a state of panic after being cornered, he picked up a piece of lumber and tried fighting back. Somewhere in there, he began madly tearing at his own throat, clawing at it. Then, he died. The presumed time of death was around 9:23 p.m., meaning it occurred right after you finished talking to Tomatake-san at the festival. Like right after everyone signed Tomatake-san's shirt, then parted ways. Right after that. So yeah, he should have been with a woman. What about her? She's missing. She hasn't shown up to work and she hasn't returned home either. There's a very high probability that she was involved in this incident. For a while, I could only gaze off into space. I never would have thought that something unfortunate happening to somebody close to me could affect me this deeply. The time I had spent with Tomatake-san was short, but we went to the same festival, spent time together, and took part in the same competition. He was one of us. We have been continuing the investigation on various fronts, but when it comes to Oyashiro-sama's curse, the villagers here aren't very cooperative. That I knew well. I would have been none the wiser if not for Tomatake-san, the outsider, telling me. So that's why you came to me, because I'm not originally from Hinamizawa. I should have been angry that was the reason you wanted to hear what happened from me. Things go the way they have been, then the conclusion would be that Jiro Tomatake died from Oyashiro-sama's curse. He turned away from me and gazed off into the distance. The night of the Watanagashi, during that sacred ritual, he callously snapped off photos, angering Oyashiro-sama. That's how it's going to turn out. There's no way Oyashiro-sama would inflict divine punishment on Tomatake-san. Tomatake-san had to have been killed by humans, and a cowardly group no less. There's no way I'm going to let this end up being the fault of some curse. I think so as well. There is no such thing as divine punishment or curses. The tense mood was cut with the man's hearty laugh. That's how this must be, Meibar-san. Cooperation from individuals in Hinamizawa who don't believe in the curse is indispensable. Okay, understand? Neither Tomatake-san nor I believed in curses. But with the way things were going, it would just end up with what would mean that Hinamizawa had rejected, okay, that was something I couldn't allow. Tomatake-san was one of us. He didn't live in Inamizawa, but he came every single year. In a sense, he was more of a resident than I was. There was no way that Tomitake-san could have been cursed by Oyashiro-sama, but there is nothing I can do to help. I have no idea what happened that night either. No, if you see or hear something that draws your attention, then that is enough. If I see or hear, he was talking in the future tense. Things or people or rumors, anything is fine. I don't care if they're unfounded. Here, this is my number. If I'm not there, then just leave a message with whoever picks up. He handed me a piece of paper with his number on it, but I hesitated for a second. If I took it, then whether I wanted to or not, I'd be mired knee-deep in this matter. Please help me solve these questions surrounding Tomitake-san's unfortunate death. That's right. Why was I hesitating? I need to find the murderer who killed my friend. I snatched up the piece of paper as a satisfied grin spread across his face. Everything we spoke of today is a secret. Please keep this confidential. Understood. From your friends as well, especially from Sonozaki-san and Furude-san. Please do not inform them. Sonozaki? You mean Mion? Why, are you saying they have something to do with the incident? No, Keiichi. No, Keiichi, if you use your fucking brain for once, with my friend's name brought up so abruptly, being told to keep it a secret from them, I became rather angry. This is what they call investigative privilege, I suppose. Don't play games with me. Mion is a close friend of mine. I snapped at him, but he didn't seem to especially be offended. I wouldn't mind telling you, but it may just upset you. Say it. He hesitated a little. Turning his gaze to the outside of the car, he began to speak after thinking for a bit. There's a possibility that the string of incidents happening here in Hinamizawa are a result of a village conspiracy. There's no way that could be right. Give me a break. First of all, is there any proof of that? No evidence. Also, each of the cases were resolved, and none of the perpetrators had any direct connection to the village. Then how do you come to that conclusion? Every year, the enemies of the village die on the day of the Watanagashi. Don't you think that's enough reason to suspect something? Only the residents of Inamizawa felt that the day of the Watanagashi was sacred. So basically, because incidents happened on that day, it was somehow related to Inamizawa? First, it was a damn construction foreman. Then it was a villager that supported it. Those the village hold a grudge against die one after the other from mysterious causes. Including, the priests that they respected. The means are different, but in the end, the result is the same. Unfounded, unreasonable suspicion. But it couldn't just be shrugged off. So the victims after that, what about the Shinto priest and his wife's death? They weren't enemies of the village. The villagers had expected leadership from the Shinto priest at the time of the damn dispute. But he wasn't proactive, so there was a faction of villagers who harbored ill will towards him as a result. That seems kind of a stretch. Ill will? It's not like he did anything bad to the village. But what about that housewife after that? Did she die just because she was the wife of the brother of a supporter? Such a trivial reason to kill someone. Or what about Tomitake-san? He's not affiliated with the damn project at all. Was he just killed because he was an outsider? In the beginning it fell on those related to the damn project. The damn project. But as the years went on, the enemy threshold of the victims had become much lower. Well, that's the scary part. The bar keeps getting lower. What's scary about that? It means it's not just enemies of the village anymore. It's being an outsider is reason. Just being an outsider is reason enough. Then next year's victim, they're just going to be picked out of the village outsider pool. You, Keiichi-san, it's gonna be you. It might just be a person that moved here. What do you mean by? I swallowed my words here in Namizawa. The ones who would be considered the most outside would be my family. I was proof enough of that, wasn't I? I still couldn't really remember the names of the people I passed by. Then the next victim's my family. Was he saying it was going to be me? But what does that have to do with Mion? I can't go into details, but the Sonozaki family led the damn protests. And also organized the Watanagashi festival? To some degree, quite fervently so. Though this is also true of Mion Sonozaki-san herself. She has quite a few misdemeanor and obstruction of public worker offenses on her record because of the protests. Okay, kinda rude, it was her family behind it, but whatever. I knew Mion knew what it meant to fight. this was the first time I'd heard of her family leading the protests, though. Then, well, what did it all mean? Are you saying that Mion's family is involved with this string of incidents? I wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying that if it was a conspiracy, and they'd have the highest probability of being behind it. Not a very clear explanation. Like he'd magnificently avoided the details I really wanted to know. We don't know who or how involved anyone is right now. That is exactly why I don't want you to say anything to the villagers. Instead of answering, I gave a very bitter expression. It seemed that he understood it well enough. Then think of it like this. I don't want to worry the villagers who blindly believe it's the curse. How about that? What do you mean, how about that? How should I know? But the reasoning behind wanting me to not carelessly open my mouth about it wasn't too hard to comprehend. The perpetrator was here. It had nothing to do with the curse. He was definitely going to be caught by the police and made to pay for his crimes. And none of the villagers should have anything to do with that process. It may cause those sensitive about the curse to just worry needlessly. Just like everyone kept it from me, so I wouldn't worry about it. Is it now my turn to keep it from them so they don't have to worry? I was just talking to myself. Unlike me, everyone else had been worrying over these mysterious incidents yearly, and the incident this time probably means a lot more to them. I didn't want to burden them anymore. In the end, everything was just as a man had wanted, and inspid as it was. As inspid? What the fuck does inspid mean?
I don't know what. Let me look it up.
Looking it up. Speedrun. I'm looking up faster than you. Fuck you.
Okay.
Inspid.
Lacking taste, flavor, interesting.
Fuck you. Oh my god, no. Lacking flavor. You're a fucking asshole, dude.
Bro, Oishi's weird. Why doesn't he go to Keishi's parents instead of like a 14-year-old kid?
Because Keiichi's father is sleeping all the time. He's literally fucking passed out on the couch thinking of how to be productive. Too busy looking at him sleeping. I understand, I'll keep it to myself. Is that fine? Mr. Ooshi from the Okinomiya police station. Ooshi. You can call me Kura-chan if you want. No, Ooshi-san is fine. The way he said it, it was unpleasant, yet retained hints of politeness. Ooshi. He was a splitting image of a vulgar police officer. Though I've never seen one this bulky before in the cop shows I've watched. You're taking up too much time. Your friends are waiting, aren't they? I should probably let you go back to them. The door opened with a click, and in streamed the oppressive heat. It was blistering outside the car. Was it really this hot of a day? It was an almost cruel heat, as opposed to the mechanical coolness inside the car. It was as if the land of Hinamizawa itself suddenly hated me. I felt a little sad as the thought crossed my mind. I didn't mean to suspect your friends. Please don't misunderstand that. I refrained from telling him that it was too late to say something that self-serving. It's fine if you don't see or hear anything, Maybar-san. There's enough proof that the village is not involved. I'll contact you if I hear or see anything. But I'm no detective. Please don't expect too much from me. I won't. Just go on living as you haven't up until now. Just let me know if you notice anything. I hastily made my way back to the school building after giving him a quick bow. See you later. Farewell, Maybar-kun. Returned to the school building without looking back. Okay, I don't know how much time had passed. I did feel bad for keeping them waiting, but right now there was a lot on my mind. Tomatake-san's death was hard enough as it was. To think that there was a possibility of a village conspiracy. Worse still, there was also a chance that Mion was involved. Nonsense. Impossible, not Mion, Reina, SpongeBob, or Rika-chan. It was a group that attacked Tomatake-san. Who could the perpetrators be? Could it be they were hiding here, somewhere in Hinamizawa? I didn't know. All I could say for certain was that I knew that Mion couldn't be the perpetrator. At least like a little bit sure. It's Michan, the perpetrator. Huh? I was startled to hear Reina's voice. With the rope in the lounge. Boah. Nope. Nope. Reina clutched her head while flailing about. It's like you're just self-destructing over here, wow. Ah, Keiichi-san, you're quite late. As you may well know, I'm seething with anger. Sorry about that. I was called into the staff room, you see. You were reprimanded for bad behavior. That's a shame. Well, it's been pretty heated over here. Since it's getting pretty late, let's make the next game the last one. If I remember right, I had 0 points. Isn't it pretty much decided that I'm going to be finishing in last place? Don't worry, Keiichi-kun. I'm at -1 points. Oh, the heck? The score is lower than mine and I wasn't even playing. This is the final match to decide if the penalty is going to be carried out by Reina alone or by both Kei-chan and Reina. Yeah, right. Just let Reina do the penalty by herself. We made a promise, Keiichi-kun, that we would both win. I waited all this time, you know. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I followed my initial plan of showing Reina my cards, but I didn't say who was the criminal and just waited for her to call. I got it. The murderer is me. Damn right. With the poison at the entrance. Isn't it? Isn't it? My, Reina. Quite a quick answer. Another stab in the dark. Ooh. Reina's correct. Oh, then it's decided that Keiichi-san shall take part in the penalty as well. Hooray. Keiichi-kun, let's both do our best. Yeah, let's do our best, huh? My fault, so I have no choice. Then that's game. It's me, Mion Sonozaki, ranked first. And dead last are Keiichi Maebara and Reina Rurugi. Everyone applauded and the game ended. The problem now is the penalty. Now then, I ranked first, so I'll decide what you will be buying for the gopher penalty. What? Oh, what will she make us buy, I wonder? Let's blacklist the drugstore. That was your name, wasn't it? Huh? I don't have any business out of the drugstore. This old man's already got a list prepared for you on this piece of paper. You need to buy my groceries. Whoa, there's a lot written here, a lot. Damn it. What is she making us buy? 2 blocks of tofu, shampoo and conditioner, apple vinegar and fried tofu. What the fuck is this? Looks more like a shopping list than a penalty. Mi-chan was certain, why? Little fucking me was certain that she was going to win today. Rule 7 of our society. You can't have that many rules. You cannot refuse any penalty. Here's some money. The shampoo I usually get is Fruit Fable. Thanks. This is just a grocery list. I promised myself that if I won next time, I'd make her go buy hemorrhoid cream. Yeah, I'm sure you would do that, Keiichi. Okay. Well, I guess that's the end of that. Oh, 2 tips. There are more than 4 perpetrators. Save. Oh, not a clue. Received an unexpected report. Wow. Wow. The tips. There are more than 4 perpetrators. Okay, what the fuck?
I don't know
What the fuck were hypovolemic shock induced by clawing out their own throat. Tissue is packed under the nails, not someone else's nails. It's undoubtedly by the individual's own nails. The shape of the scars also matches. Yep. I know the immediate cause of
shock is just blood loss.
What the fuck? Why didn't they just say that?
It's just using that word.
I know the immediate cause of death was suicide. I get it. You're saying that the cause of death is unnatural, right? It's kind of like when your back itches and you scratch a little too hard and draw blood. I feel like no one does that. I feel like no one has ever done that,
Maybe
really.
people with acne on their back.
Back knee. Some of
Back.
Tomatake's fingernails had been pulled out. It's actually quite simple to pull out one's own nails. Why did he pull them out, but it really hurts? Under normal circumstances, the pain would prevent you from completely pulling them out. Also, there were a lot of bruises on Tomotage-san's body. It's clear from the shape of them that he was assaulted first by someone or a group of people, and then he just clawed out his throat. According to the toxicology report, the deceased was in an extreme state of hysteria right before death. Then he fought back and clawed out his own throat because of how hysterical he had become. The guys attacking him certainly would have been surprised by that. It is possible that in such an abnormal environment, a person could perform acts that a sane individual couldn't possibly imagine. Of course, those are very rare cases. Actually, that wood plank the deceased used as a weapon. They only found sand and the paint from the guardrail on it. What about cloth fibers or skin? Nothing. The deceased didn't strike the assailants. Or it could be they took the plank he was fighting back with. In that case, they wouldn't have gone out of their way to replace it with another. They take them all. Well, I don't feel like I registered anything that was just said. Har har har. That's true. Tomatake is pretty built and tanned. He was quite athletic. That's right. He was pretty active. There he is, in loving memory. I can't imagine what kind of sports he did when he was alive, but I think his physical strength would be on the higher side, meaning it would be difficult to overpower in a brawl. If a man with such a physique sensed he was in danger and swung the plank around quickly, just unthinkable that it wouldn't even nick the perpetrator, and his opponent was unarmed. This guy had a wooden plank, so you'd think he'd hit him at least once. To surround and take down someone of his physique. Wonder how many people it would take. Yeah, dimwit. You should know better than anyone else. Have you forgotten your bad cop days? If I was to take down this guy, how many would I need? When a group wants to take down big prey, it's fundamental to attack with numbers. I guess about 4. Even if there was a gap in their strength, they'd manage. Then there were quite a few perpetrators. So any drunk and disorderly groups of more than 4 are suspicious? A group of 4 or more. Just, if they had that many, then couldn't they have hidden the body in a less obvious location? Or did he somehow break away from that fatal predicament? There would be no reason to commit suicide. Moreover, I still can't comprehend the irregular way he died. It's full of mysteries. That's under serious consideration on my end too. I'll be examining it as thoroughly as possible, but don't get your hopes up. After all, we've never encountered a death like this before. Not hoping for much, but I am looking forward to the results. Ushi-san, the chief is calling you. Thanks, see you around. Yep, best wishes. Yeah, whatever.
Four people?
There are more than 4 per search notice.
Reminds me of another group of 4 people.
Tinky Winky, Dipsy Lala and Poe, and the 5th Teletubby, Jiro Tomatake, deceased, resided in a cheap hotel in Shishibone City, registered under the name Jiro Tomatake, pet name, travels via folding bike, no license. The bicycle was found 300 meters away, abandoned at the side of a forest path, present on the day of the festival, accompanied by the missing Mio Takano, was seen around 9 p.m. by police. Location afterwards unknown. What? Okay, so he's in a hotel. He uses a bike. He was there. He disappeared. Held residence in Hinamizawa for 1 week each season for the last 5 to 6 years. Freelance photographer specializing in wild birds. Check with magazine companies. Nothing suspicious in the film located among the articles of the deceased. While it was among the articles of the deceased, mere act of violence. From the contents of his wallet, he spent most of his time around Tokyo and Chiba. Along the Sobu National Railway line, no individual matching the name Jiro Tomitake in the residency records of any of the Tokyo wards. Compared teeth to dental records. Sent to Metro Police. Attach a photo. Send to Metro Police. Contacting magazines regarding Jiro Tomitake. Mio Takano missing. Nurse at Irie Clinic became close to Tomitake through her passion for wild bird photography. Resides in Okinomiya X District XXX. Single. Witnessed accompanying Tomitake on the festival grounds. Currently missing. Abducted, or maybe a suspect. An important person of interest. Unknown motive to kill the deceased. Squabble from jealousy. Need to thoroughly investigate their relationship. Place of work, etc. Need to get information from the police on scene again. I want some cream puffs. 4 jumbo ones. Ooshi. Ooshi.
Ooh, she.
Okay, well. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Cool. Okay.
Cops tormenting 14-year-olds.
It's what every small town does. Sleepy. Sleepy. Whoa, that was really big yawn, Keiichi-kun. I'm usually awake once it's time to eat, but doesn't look like I can do it today. I was watching TV until late last night. I'm so tired right now. Was one of those raunchy TV shows you loved so much on last night? How extremely vile. Don't jump to conclusions. It's perfectly normal for boys. Nothing to be ashamed about. Rika not patting my head only made me feel worse. Could you just let me pass out this lunch break? No, seriously. You think I would just sit here and allow that? I'll get really angry if you disturb me. Really angry. Yawn. And then he died. This was just dreadful. Just so sleepy. I slumped my head onto the desk and drifted off into an afternoon nap. Seems that SpongeBob had responded, but I pretended not to hear her. Cut it out, SpongeBob. Keiichi-kun fell asleep. His sleeping face so cute. You can take him home later. Let him be for now. Let's move over there. It'd be rude to Keiichi if we bothered him now. Rika-chan really is a good girl. Let's not wake him up even if the teacher comes back. I take that back. The excuse that I didn't sleep much last night because I was watching TV was a lie. I was in bed at the usual time, but because of the conversation with Uoshi that afternoon, I didn't get much sleep. Just spending the day like this, it's almost as if the incident with Tomitake-san didn't happen at all. It made me think, was Uoshi just trying to deceive me? But it was probably the truth. One thing was certain, I couldn't speak to anyone about it. He wanted my assistance, but I really didn't know anything about it. If I knew I wasn't going to be of any help, I probably wouldn't have listened in the first place. It ended up with me, again, regretting learning something I didn't need to know. If I had never learned about it, I would, without a doubt, be goofing off with the rest of them right now. I couldn't help but resent Uoshi-san for this. Huh? When was that? I heard he wasn't there the next day. It appears he vanished the night of the wedding at Higurashi. Mion whispered to keep others from listening, but I could hear it clearly. On the other hand, Reina's voice was even harder to pick up, but I could still tell that she was quite upset. It couldn't be. Are they talking about Tomitake-san? Not sure. That's all I know. I would have to feign ignorance about this topic because I needed to keep it a secret, rather than waking up and being forced to lie to join the conversation. It was much easier just to sit here and pretend I was asleep to listen in on their discussion. Wait, why did I have to pretend to be asleep while eavesdropping on my friend's conversation? The guilt stung. So, and me, there are others, right? Two, but they didn't know if it's from the curse or if this was an Onikakushi. Onikakushi. Like the name Onikakushi,
Like
to
the
be hidden
name.
away by a demon. What a mysterious phrase. I did, however, get the feeling it meant nothing good. Eh, there was another, right? Right? If it's Oyashiro-sama's, yeah. But, this year, at all, Grandma and the mayor had talked about it. Seems they talked to the police about it beforehand. They said they'd take care of whatever happens this year without causing a commotion. Then, without us knowing it, someone had them, you mean AB, next could, me, I wonder, don't worry, you got home safely, but is not allowed, right? That was a long time ago. Let's stop talking about this. Amidst the uncomfortable mood, both of them went silent. The entirety of the conversation was still a bit unclear, but a few parts caught my attention. First of all, the term onikakushi. To be demoned away. By the context it was used in, I would guess it's similar to being spirited away, like the movie. I suspected that was what it meant, because Tomitake-san and that woman, it really bugged me that I didn't know her name, vanished after the Watanagashi. The next thing that stuck out was when Reina said, "There is another one, right?" Mian also said, "If it's Oyashiro-sama's, yeah." Responding to something, if it's Oyashiro-sama's curse, then there had to be 2 victims. Is that what she meant? Come to think of it, I remember Mion saying at the beginning that they didn't know if it was from the curse or if it was a case of onikakushi. It seems that the curse and being demoned away are different things, and they were phenomena that were paired together. I recalled Tomitake-san's terrible end. That wasn't something as elegant as disappearing. That horrendous end would best be described as cursed. Then the woman with him, it means she vanished because she was demoned away. What I do know is that there is normally an even number of victims of the curse proper, and the last point that bothered me was Reina. Reina was frightened. For what reason I didn't know. However, she knew that something had made her a potential target for Oyashiro-sama's curse. If I recall correctly, Oyashiro-sama should be the guardian deity of Hinamizawa. Isn't a guardian deity supposed to defend the citizens and drive out invaders? If I recall correctly, yesterday Shisan said that originally the targets were enemies of the village, but recently there was no longer any distinction between them or regular outsiders. If that was the case, then I would think that I'd be the more likely target, having moved here more recently than Reina. From her composure, I can infer that she was grimly certain that she would be next. I should probably relay what I heard just now to Uishi-san, informing the police of what I had heard by eavesdropping on my friends while pretending to be asleep. It made me feel terrible. It raised a few questions and left me with a bad taste in my mouth. Would it be better not to seek the answers to those questions? As I continued to learn more and more, I felt like I had fallen past the point of no return. I would definitely regret this one day. I would definitely regret ever having learned of these events. The teacher approaches. Keiichi-san, you must awaken. In the distance, I could hear the ringing of the handbell singling the start of the afternoon class. I couldn't sleep at all. I hastily opened my eyes and raised my head up. It was in that moment when I leaned against the back of my seat. There was a thumbtack stuck on the back of my chair with tape. Circumstantial evidence was enough. That could have actually fucking killed him, SpongeBob. What are you doing? Guilty without trial, capital punishment. I furiously jumped from my seat. And I tripped as if my feet were tangled up. My shoelaces had been tied together. Not bad, SpongeBob. While I was sleeping, you were able to conceal your presence and able to pull off this fine piece of work. The teacher came in right as I was about to pull off my shoes and tackle SpongeBob. Oh, did you not notice that our teacher has arrived, Keiichi-san? Take your fucking seat. Clomp clomp wish whiff, not caring one bit. I made her eat a flick to the forehead. Bwah. Keiichi-san is being fucking mean. Hey, don't pick on the younger kids, Maybar-kun. Apologize, asshole. Do it. I saw SpongeBob stick her tongue out at me. That little bitch. Come on, Maybar-kun. Yeah, I'll apologize. Sorry, SpongeBob. In any case, I apologized, even if it was in a completely insincere tone of voice. Damn her. I'll remember this. Kei-chan, get your revenge at the club meeting. Take your seat, take your seat. I sat down after Mion told me to. She switched to class representative mode. With the boring classes finished, school was finally over for the day. Now then, what should we do for a club today? Personally, I would like to play the deduction game one more time. I was hardly able to play it last time because of Higurashi-san. Reina and I weren't even able to test out a strategy. That's right, today Keiichi-kun and I will be victorious. What should we do? We've never played the same game 2 days in a row before. Why not try asking me? Mion looked over her shoulder as we made eye contact. She slowly tapped her palm with her fist as her face suddenly lit up. Oops! I completely forgot I need to go help my uncle today. Sorry guys, not today. Helping your uncle? Aren't you a little goody two-shoes? Sorry, really. I really did forget. Well then, sorry guys. This old man is headed back home now. Mion left us with that and rushed off to the exit after snatching up her bag. You see, Mi-chan, she sometimes goes to help out at her uncle's shop in town. I thought she wasn't the type to get caught up in such bothersome stuff. She said that she gets paid for it. It's quite a bit of spending money from what I hear. I see. She was able to pay for that mountain of games with what she had saved up from there. But that, wouldn't you call that a part-time job? Isn't that against school policy? There is a clause that states family businesses are excluded. Is that what she's calling it? So what now? Pass on the club today? So, we're done today, I guess. Won't it be fine even without the club president? Let's do this. I opened the club locker and began searching for the deduction game from that ever-growing pile of games. Ah, here it is, the deduction game from yesterday. Man, I had to stop just as I was getting the hang of it. At the very least, I wanted to repay SpongeBob for what she did during the afternoon break. I do not mind, but is that fine for Reina-san and Rika? If Keiichi-kun wants to so badly, I wouldn't mind playing for a bit. I think it's better if we do it when we have everyone together. When she says it like that, I wanted to go shopping if there wasn't a club meeting today. Going to buy soy sauce and other things. Oh, that's right, I completely forgot. Well, I guess since it's been a while, I should go treasure hunting. What's this now? Everyone was no longer in the mood for club activities. If I kept on trying to push the matter, it may make them realize I had a trick up my sleeve. Well, I'll give up this time. Man, I really was looking forward to playing it. I shuffled through the cards as if I was still caught up on it. The next opportunity, I shall give you a sound thrashing. Oh ho ho. The murderer is SpongeBob. The murder weapon is the pistol. It was you after all. SpongeBob looked through the cards on the desk and stuck out 3 of them at me. The murderer is Keiji. The lounge with a rope. I don't need no rope. I'll just strangle you like this. No, Keiichi-san is such a beast. Oh Jesus, phew. Well, I guess it's good that I got that out of my system. Bwah. I'll remember this, Keiichi-san. When I kill you, she was used as a plaything for quite a while. How unfortunate. Ah, cute. Cute. Everyone got ready to go back home. I also helped gather up the scattered cards. I suddenly paused. They were just the suspect cards, but I noticed something strange. Reina, SpongeBob, Rika, Keiichi, Mion, and Satoshi. Whatever, who cares? All of the cards were made by us. Or at least every card besides this one has the name of a club member. Does it seem that was there someone in the class named Satoshi? I couldn't find anyone named Satoshi on the class roster stuck up on the wall. Keiichi-kun, let's hurry and finish cleaning up. Being rushed by Reina, I finished up quickly. SpongeBob and Rika-chan were already headed merrily for their lockers, so we were the only ones left in the classroom. Right now, Reina had already gotten her bag and was ready to leave. Reina, there must be quite a few people who transferred from the school, right? I tried asking Reina in a bit of a roundabout way. Reina made a troubled face and then answered, yeah. Inamizawa is a rural town, right? Some people transfer out every now and then. Then is Satoshi another one of those transferees? Sorry, I don't really know. There was a bit of a pause, but the answer was pretty much immediate. I'm not saying it to be mean, just last year I transferred in, so maybe I just missed him. I didn't hear much about him. Sorry. I am not sure, sorry. It's an anagram. Her answer was a lot like when she refused to tell me about the murder, the damn. I was saddened by her denial and felt a little bit of anger. I'm their friend, aren't I? Friends don't keep secrets from their friends, do they? Though I do appreciate that they kept that unsettling curse thing from me. But if everyone is worried about it, I'd rather be worried with them. That's what it means to be friends, right? For a moment, I wondered just what kind of face I was making just then, with these mixed feelings of sadness and annoyance. Keiichi-kun, you're making a very scary face. Why is it? Why? It was probably exactly the kind of face Reina said it was. The appear and my grim expression had frightened her. Sorry. I was really looking forward to the club today. I'm just feeling down about it. Rustled Reina's hair. Let's go home. Dragging that awkward mood with us, we headed home. And then they went home. Home. I wonder why. Why have I been getting this dumb feeling lately? I didn't know anything. I had nothing to worry about. I was just enjoying my everyday life. My long outstretched shadow gave no answer to my naive inquiry. Keiichi-kun, are you tired maybe? Reina timidly questioned the reason behind my mood. I'm sure you think so? Yeah. You seem to have been a little out of it ever since this morning. Maybe a cold? Physically, I was pretty sure I was in perfect health. It may not seem like it, but I've had perfect attendance since elementary school. Reina continued on since I didn't give her an answer. It could be that the fatigue from moving has finally caught up with you. It's completely different from where you used to live after all. Of course you've gotten tired, since there's so much you need to get used to and remember. Maybe that's it. Yep. It has to be. Reina was also like that at first too. I can tell, I wondered if Reina also experienced a slight bit of alienation last year that I was feeling right now. Luckily she knows how to make pickles. Thinking so, I felt that she was the only one who could understand how I felt. I'd like to hear about when you first came to Hinamizawa. How was it? Feeling I had been drawn into the conversation, her face suddenly brightened. Haha, it was the same as Keiichi-kun. I didn't know the villagers' names at all. Michan and the rest were all very kind, so I wasn't lonely, but I did still feel a little out of place. Reina told me all the details of when she had moved here, all of her first acquaintances and surprises, worries and good times. So SpongeBob got you too? Yeah, there was a thumbtack put on my chair. Poke. Then with that, yeah, that really takes me back. When were you invited to the club? The first day? The first day? No. There wasn't a club at the beginning. It was formed partway through. One day she said we should stay after and hold a big game tournament. Come to think of it, Mion did say she was the first club president. Now I get it. This is a secret, but Michan used to be really bad at the beginning. She'd never win. Huh? Oh. I wonder if that's related to anything we've heard about. Huh, Mion, really? Can't even imagine that. She had to do most of the penalties that she came up with. Haha. Seriously, don't tell. Can't believe Mion was like that. So she gradually transformed into a monster who uses any means necessary to win during that time. Mion is at her best when she's fighting dirty. I began making more friends besides Michan after that, but yeah. It it might have only been since you moved here that I had finally felt like I had gotten used to it here. I guess Reina had also been left in the dark about Oyashiro-sama when she had just moved here. I guess when they finally told me about Oyashiro-sama, I'd be considered one of them. I wonder when I'll finally be considered one of them. Huh? Did you say something? No. Keiji-kun, you're silly. Reina was poking fun and laughing at me, and I couldn't help but laugh as well. But I suddenly stopped. Then, after making up my mind, I spoke. Hey Reina, who the fuck is Satoshi? Is there something that everybody is keeping from me? Huh? No, not at all. You're lying, aren't you? Reina suddenly stopped. Her expression was cold and intense. What do you mean by that, Keiichi-kun? Her tone was still the same cheery and light-hearted one as before. Aren't you keeping something from me? After understanding what I meant, her expression grew even more intense. Seeing that face, I regretted saying something so rash. But she came back at me in a way I didn't expect. Well then, Keiichi-kun, aren't you keeping something from us? Huh? Her tone didn't change, but it was the first time I'd seen this expression from Reina. With how her gaze pierced through me, I couldn't believe this was the same Reina. Aren't you? Lies or secrets, aren't you? You are. Secrets. She didn't actually say that part, but she looked as if she did. The incident with Toмотaki-san and how I felt alienated from the group. Even without having to think about it, there were things I knew that I felt guilty about. But I didn't tell everyone about what had happened with Toмотaki-san to be considerate. I was keeping it a secret just the same way they didn't tell me about Oyashiro-sama. Then aren't we even? No, I'm not. No lies. No, nor secrets. Liar. Her answer was instant, and it shook me. Reina stared as if burrowing through me, watching me like a hawk. Why would you say I'm lying? Didn't you say that you were called into the teacher's room yesterday during the club meeting, Keiichi-kun? I know. You didn't go to the teacher's room. I swallowed hard. It clearly wasn't a bluff. She knew what happened. The teacher said you had a guest, didn't she? But you didn't talk at the entrance. You talked inside of the car near the school gate with some man we don't know. Reina knew everything. She knew that I was called Oot by the Ushi-san, and that I heard about the incident with Toмотaki-san as well. Did she know all of it? Exactly who was that man? I don't know him. Why did someone you don't know have business with you? I want to know that myself. Then what did you talk about? It has nothing to do with you guys. It was a lie. Lies! Reina's scream echoed through the trees, sending frightened birds through the air. I couldn't exhale the deep breath I'd just taken. No, it's like I wasn't allowed to exhale. It was here I first realized. The person in front of me, she wasn't Reina Rugu. And who was it that was standing before me now? Who would assume Reina Rugu's appearance? I had held my breath for so long I could feel myself suffocating. Right? And then she made a facial expression that Reina normally might have made. It didn't matter that it was Reina's usual smile, it chilled me to the bone. She drew closer to me. I felt her breath against my face. It wasn't the least bit exciting. Whoever this was with Reina's face was going to chew my nose right off. I cowered as I imagined that. Then she smirked as if she was able to see right through me. We also have secrets, just like how Keiichi-kun has secrets. It was Reina's usual smile, but her eyes were still like that of a hawk's. Bringing her face close enough to mine that she to almost bump into my nose, she kindly persuaded me. I couldn't nod or shake my head. This person standing in front of me, this person who looked like Reina, frightened me to my core. I was terrified knowing that she could hear the sound of me swallowing nervously. After what felt like an eternity, after a long empty silence, she finally spoke. Let's go. It's getting chilly. It was Reina again, smiling at me once more. She started walking as if nothing at all had happened. When I was released from her gaze, my legs gave out from under me, and I slumped onto the ground. And she walked away. I wasn't able to lift a finger until Reina was out of sight. Who was that? I felt cold, my body was drenched in sweat. I was finally able to form a coherent thought and ask myself once again, who was that person who looked like Reina Rouge? Okay, and that's that. Uh, yeah.
Scary.
Scary, ooh.
Scary.
Tips, please. Please give me the tips. What the fuck? Oh my god. Fucking bait. The only good part of the game has been replaced because now the good part of the game is every part of the game. Okay, well, I was out of it and couldn't bring myself to do anything until dinner except stare blankly into space. Was I terrified from Reina going off on me? No, that's not right. That was someone else who only looked like Reina. Then who could it have been? It was a dreadful feeling, knowing that that was someone else, not Reina. So tomorrow I shouldn't have a problem talking to Reina like I usually do. That thought was strangely comforting. I concluded that I should just calm down and clear my head, though those thoughts continued swirling around my mind. Finally, I returned to my senses as I heard my mother calling out to me from the bottom of my steps. Keiichi! It's a call from the bookstore. Bookstore? Can't think of why they'd be calling me. I went downstairs and picked up the receiver anyway. My apologies for calling so late at night. It's me, Ushi of the Ukinomiya bookshop. Ushi-san. Oh, it's Ushi-san. Sorry. Since your parents picked up, I said I was from the bookstore. It puts people off when I say I'm a police officer. Ushi-san was, in his own way, rather courteous. Even so, I didn't want my parents hearing me talk to the police. I brought the cordless phone with me as I dashed back up to my room on the second floor. Not suspicious at all? Sorry for calling so late. That phone number on the piece of paper I gave you yesterday was the old number. My apologies. Can you copy down the number I'm about to give you? Yeah, okay. Gave me the number for his direct line as I wrote down. I thought that was the end of it, but he began making pointless small talk, and it was pretty hard to hang up. So, how's it been, Maybar-san? Did anything strange happen recently? Yes. He really beat around the bush there. His adult conversational skills left me slack-jawed. Are you from around here, Uishi-san? Yeah, I am. Born and raised in Okinomiya. If he's from around here, he might know. Uishi-san, do you know what this Onikakushi thing is about? I believe that's when somebody suddenly vanishes because they've been abducted by a demon. A special saying from around here. It has the same meaning as spirited away like everyone else says. Whereas my friends would say they didn't know when I asked, this older man gave me a direct answer. It made me a bit happy that he answered me directly without trying to hide anything. Inamizawa was, not sure if I should tell you this, Maybar-san. Don't try to play this off. If you're not going to talk, then I'm not going to tell you anything. No, that's not what I meant. It's just, it may make you feel bad. You see, long ago, Hinamizawa was feared as the village where demons reside. Demons? By demons you mean those pitchfork-carrying things in hell? More like human-eating monsters. They'd go down to villages, snatching up people and gobbling them down, that kind of tale. Demons snatching up people is what this Onikakushi really means. They said that the curse and being demoned away happened together. What does that mean? I already knew about the mysterious deaths happening 5 years in a row, but I didn't know there were people disappearing for those same 5 years. The curse and being demoned away happened together? First time I've heard of that. Is that how it is, Maybar-san? That's what I want to know. I heard Reina and Mion talking. They said that if it was really Oyashiro-sama's curse, then both the curse and demoning away would happen. Ushi-san began hemming and hawing on the other end of the receiver. Maybe something about that came to mind? Keiichi. The fucking girl went missing, Keiichi. Mayubara-san. Do you know the first incident? The murder by dismemberment? Yeah? One of the 6 perpetrators is still on the run, right? Hypothetically, what if he isn't on the run but was demoned away? Huh? It was an outrageous hypothesis from Ueshi-san. The incident 4 years ago was the particularly ghastly one. The police already knew the perpetrators, so they posted tons of wanted posters with his face on them. They stalked out various locations and investigated every possible escape route he had, but after 4 years there wasn't even a hint of where he might be. Unless the police were completely incompetent, which they are. Even if it was an outrageous hypothesis, I couldn't simply laugh it off. Then what about the incident the next year, when the man who supported the project and his wife both died in an accident? Well, actually, it was only the husband who died in an accident. His wife's body never surfaced. Unless we find the body, then it's considered a missing person by law. At the time of the incident, with the river below the cliff being muddy rapids, the police divers had searched every branch of the main stream of the river for dozens of miles, but in the end, they weren't able to find her body. That's just them not being able to find the body. She's still dead, right? Isn't it different from her being demoned away? We cannot say someone is dead without their body. Until a certain number of years pass, by law, she is treated as still alive. I'm not sure if it was right to call that being demoned away. The wife is missing. At least that part was reality. How about the 3rd year? The Shinto priest died of illness, and his wife committed suicide. Maybar-san, that's actually the exact same scenario. The wife had supposedly thrown herself into the bottomless marsh deep in the forest around Hinamizawa, meaning it's all circumstantial evidence. They simply found her suicide note in front of the marsh. A diver was able to recover a few remnants, but they weren't able to find a body. The investigative headquarters believed that she had faked her death and was still alive somewhere. I'm not sure if we could call these cases as being demoned away. It's just as you said, every year one person does go missing. The incident this year, the woman with Tomatake-san, has gone missing. Then what about the incident with the housewife being beaten to death, who went missing? I believe the perpetrator was caught, right? Yeah, we arrested him. He was just a miscreant with a record of narcotics abuse. He admitted to the crime while being questioned about a different incident. But, well, you see, after he was arrested, a child from the victim's home went missing. It is still under investigation as to whether the disappearance had anything to do with the crime. But you said you caught him, right? Did he have an accomplice? No idea. It's considered a separate case. Moreover, we can't even check now, because while under investigation, that man, he died in his holding cell. He swallowed a spork and choked to death. It's not known whether it was an accident or a suicide, meaning that for the last 5 years, there's always one person who dies and one who goes missing? It's about right. No, actually, I'm surprised as well. I never realized they had that in common. I couldn't believe that this could help lead to the closing of those incidents. It's just something they had in common. Could it be that those demoned away have something in common? Ushi-san mumbled as he seemed to be thinking about it. So I summarized the events. Sumari, in other words, the first year was the dam employee. Second year was the wife of the dam project supporter. Third year was the wife of the Shinto priest. Fourth year was the victim's family's child. And the 5th year was the victim's girlfriend, I guess? It doesn't seem like there's anything that connects them. With the exception of the first year, wives and girlfriends, With the exception of the first year, wives and girlfriends, those do stand out. It does seem like there are a lot. Then that means the fourth year's victim's child was different. It would have really stood out if it were all married couples, except it's not just married couples, but parents and children as well. Come to think of it, I believe Tomatake-san also told me the younger brother is alive and has moved. In regards to what? I don't remember. The child that went missing in the fourth year, who were they? Apparently he was quite mature, 1 year older than you. Child that went missing in the fourth year. His name was Satoshi Hojo-san. Huh? Satoshi. I remember that name. Didn't they tell me Satoshi transferred out last year? He was at your school up until last year. Didn't they tell you anything about him? Come to think of it, when I transferred in, I believe they said my seat belonged to a recent transfer student. Then where I sat once belonged to the one who was demoned away. It was his seat. I recalled the cold sensation that came from that desk. It made my hair stand on end. This string of mysterious deaths, no, Oyashiro-sama's curse. I now knew how it was connected to me. I know, yeah. That chilling sensation, it was the feeling of Oyashiro-sama caressing the back of my neck. Oyashiro-sama's curse, huh? Could Oyashiro-sama's curse really exist? In all honesty, I was beginning to believe it, and I was scared. That was why I wanted to say it was a plot crafted by a man and not the work of a curse. But the more I dug into it, the less likely that seemed. No, the more I dug, the more mysterious it became. If I kept digging, eventually, I'd reach the point where I'd learned something I really shouldn't know. To either be none the wiser or to seek an answer I may regret. Which one would I be happier with? Maybe it'll be me next time. My execution could only be delayed for 1 year. That was when I remembered Reina. Reina said she may be the next victim of the curse. You mean Reina Ryugu-san? She transferred in last year, and she's your classmate, isn't she? These incidents really might be a bit too disturbing for a girl. She's not just scared, is she? It wasn't that. She said it might be her next. She said it in a way that made me think she had a concrete reason behind it. It felt like she was convinced. Almost as if, you could say, she was frightened. Her sudden change in demeanor. That someone who looked like Reina but wasn't Reina. That might be unrelated. All the strange things that I felt from Reina today came back to me. See, then I'll be doing a bit of investigation on this end. Please continue your observations of Ryugu-san, Maibara-san. Are you asking me to keep Reina under surveillance? That's not what I mean, Maibara-san. I just want you to watch out for your friend so she doesn't end up the next victim. At that moment, just as my mouth was agape because I was so impressed with his mature, clever way with words. Knock knock. A sudden knock at the door sent my heart racing. In an instant, I had pointlessly covered up the end of the receiver. Keiichi, get the door, please. On the other side of the door, I heard my father's oddly upbeat voice. What could it be? It's so late. Sorry, my dad just came in. Can we leave it at this for tonight? Yeah. My apologies again for calling so late. If you find out anything else, please let me know. I'll tell you if I make any progress on this end. Well then, have a pleasant evening. Keiichi, hurry and open up. Daddy's got his hands full. What is Dad doing? What the fuck could he possibly be doing? I had stayed in the same position while on the phone the whole time, so my joints were aching. When I opened up the door, I saw my father was standing there with the tray. On that tray, cookies and 2 cups of black tea, a fairly fancy spread for our household. There was even sugar and lemon slices on the table, everything you could ask for. This was quite the show of hospitality. What's going on, Dad? What's all this for? Come now, don't play around, Keiichi. I'm coming in. Dad was in high spirits and had a smirk on his face. But for my entire life, I've never seen him act this hospitable. What had gotten into him? So, what were you talking about? I jumped. It's not something I had to keep from my father. But how could I explain to him I was talking to a detective? I'm assuming he was. This late at night. I mean, he said he was with the police, so you could just say that instead. No, nothing much. Just a friend. I don't mean the phone. She was here, wasn't she? Reina-chan. Huh? She wasn't here? Come now. Don't try to keep it from me. She just came over to play. You two were chatting away, so I thought I'd bring some tea, but it looked like I just missed her. I had no idea what Dad was talking about, but a cold sweat dripped down my back. How long were we talking? Reina-chan went upstairs about half after, so it was close to an hour, I guess. You saw her come up to the second floor? Yeah, I did. I also told her that your room was the door down the hall upstairs. Reina came to my house about an hour ago. Dad met her at the door and called out to me on the second floor. Probably didn't hear him because I was so focused on my conversation with Higurashi-san. I didn't reply, but he knew I was in my room, so he had her come inside. Then told her my room was on the second floor. She thanked my dad and went upstairs. Then about an hour passed. She passed by my dad just as he was bringing up tea and left. She came up... Damn it, she came upstairs and about an hour passed. Then, passed by my dad and returned home. Then after she came upstairs and until she left, where was Reina? There was only a short hallway between my room and the stairs, meaning Reina had, for about an hour, in the hall. No, she couldn't have been standing in front of my door all that time. The door to my room wasn't particularly thick. You could easily hear everything being said inside. All of the ominous things and all the nonsense I spoke to Urushi-san about began rushing through my head. Honey, don't tease him. More importantly, you need to clean up your studio. It's a mess again. Mom yelled up at Dad from downstairs. Dad left a tray with me and went downstairs with a disappointed chortle. I followed my dad out of the room with my eyes. I looked down at the floor around the doorway where Reina might have stood all that time. Just now, as I was talking to Urushi-san, my back turned, Reina was standing a mere 6 feet away the whole time. All that time, in this dimly lit doorway, what did she see? What did she hear? For what reason? As the steam from the 2 teacups ominously wafted and twisted, the aroma of black tea filled my room. Okay, and I guess that's the end of that. Shit, it's almost fucking 11. I didn't realize I've been reading for this long.
Yeah, it's getting serious now.
Finally, fucking anything is happening. New tips! New tips! Lies! Like, the achievement lies! View new tips. Notice from the police chief. July 1st, 1982. To Departments 1 through 12. XX Prefectural Police Headquarters Director General XXX to the Chief Constable and all facility managers regarding cases situated in the Hinamizawa village. Notice: as cases in Shishibone City, Hinamizawa village have been reported by certain sections of mass media. It has drawn global attention, which is causing serious repercussions for the local residents. This has become a very serious situation. Okay, what the fuck are we doing, man? I can't read this shit. This has become a very serious situation. To protect the livelihood and prosperity of the residents, the following notice has been issued. 1. Designate the following criminal investigations as classified. Okinomiya Station 1982 Case Number X. Hinamizawa Village Housewife Murder dated June XX. Okinomiya Station 1982 Case Number X. Hinamizawa Village Student Disappearance dated June XX. 2. Non-disclosure of information. Okinomiya Station 1979 Case Number X. Hinamizawa Village Site Foreman Murder dated June XX. Shira Station 19, Shira National Park falling incident. Okinomiya Station 1981, case number X, Hinamizawa Village Shinto priest's wife disappearance. Requesting self-restraint from each organization concerning the release of sensitive information. Please see attached reference materials 1, 2, and 3. Management XX Prefecture Police Headquarters Internal Line XXXX. Police Affairs Department XXXX. Requesting self-restraint from each organization concerning the release of sensitive information. Please, okay. So just don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody about the fucking priest guy or the guy who died or the wife who was beaten to death. Just don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody about that.
Yep.
Weariness and a headache. Not a very nice way to start the day. What's wrong, Keiichi? You don't look so well. When did you go to sleep? It seemed that my mom had noticed my sullen state. Yesterday, I kept on waking up in the middle of the night. Without a doubt, I felt a presence. I felt the presence of someone standing in front of my door. I told myself repeatedly that it was my imagination and forced myself to try and sleep. Except, not being able to stand it, I gathered up my courage and opened the door. Of course, there wasn't anyone there. I think I did this 3 times throughout the night, or maybe I just didn't remember doing it any more than that. Even though I was able to get to the breakfast table without incident, I still didn't feel at ease. It might be a cold. I don't really have an appetite. You seem a little warm. Well, can you make it to school? Technically, I did go to a school, but it was mostly self-study. It wouldn't matter much if I missed a day, would it? It could have been that I hadn't been feeling well for the last few days because I really did have a cold. If I took some medicine and got a good day of rest, I might be able to greet everyone with a smile tomorrow. Startled, I looked back and forth between the entrance and the clock. Entrance clock, that's the clock, that's the entrance clock. It was 10 minutes later than when I usually met up with Reina. It was Reina. Reina-chan came to get you. What are you going to do? Are you going to take the day off? Reina was a good girl. She might be somewhat quirky, but she was certainly cute. The lunches she made were delicious, and she always looked out for me. Why should I be so scared of something like that? It wasn't Reina's fault. It was probably mine. It had to have been my cold. It just had to be. I'll rest. Sorry. Then I'll go send her off for you. Mom headed off to the door. I would have to pass by the entrance to get back to my room. I didn't have the nerve to meet up with Reina, so I wrapped myself in a blanket on the sofa and closed my eyes. I was so sleep deprived, I quickly fell into a deep slumber. And then I woke up and Reina was staring at me with the same fucking stupid fucking blank eyes. Woo! Woo! I had only intended to lie down for a bit, but it was almost noon when I woke up. I called out to my parents, but they didn't seem to be around. On the table I found lunch prepared and a note. Mom and Dad had apparently driven off to somewhere far away. Okay, it likely had to do with Dad's work. I feel like they should have taken you with them. This happened every so often, so it wasn't that unusual. They would probably be back sometime after dinner. On the note, it said, "The insurance card is in the cabinet. Take it and go to the hospital." There was also a well-drawn map to the hospital. That's right. I hadn't been there before, so I didn't know exactly where it was. I had a light lunch, although it really was just leftovers from the morning, and just in case, went to the hospital. And then he walked to the hospital road. Normally, I'd never be here in the middle of a weekday. Just walking around like this had me feeling guilty. It was an odd feeling. Following my mom's map, I took a road I usually never used. After walking for a bit, the hospital sign came into view. Erie Clinic was written rather stylishly on the sign. Wow, the clinic wasn't very big, but based on the scale of the rest of Hinamizawa, it It was far too grand. There was a parking lot and even a reserve spot for buses. They must be making a mint. Huh? I spaced out in the air-conditioned waiting room until it was my turn to be seen. Neighbor-san, please make your way to the examination room. After properly answering all of the chatty doctor's questions, he responded with the old, probably cold. They gave me a shot and 3 days worth of medicine. I thought it was a little overboard, but if it would clear away the gloomy feeling I had been having lately, then it was worth it. I settled the bill and took a quick trip to the washroom. As I was leaving, I overheard a conversation between some elderly people who seemed to be regulars at the clinic. Of course, I had no intention of eavesdropping. If it just wasn't for that word. Must have been an onikakushi. I wonder. She was still pretty young. Might have just eloped. With whom? That man from Tokyo who visits every season. That young one with that big camera. Didn't you know they were getting along pretty well? Are they talking about Tomatake-san? I could feel my ears perking up. I don't know about that, but you have to make preparations before you elope. Leave a note or quit their job or something. And it's an elopement because they didn't leave a note or message? The thought that I'll never see that young nurse's face again makes me rather sad. Takano-san is an upstanding young woman. She'll be fine wherever she goes. So her name was Takano-san? That woman with Tomatake-san? And she worked at this clinic. Yashiro-sama's shadow was following me everywhere I went. I started listening more closely, but they began talking about fishing. It didn't seem like they were going to revisit the topic. I gave up and left. Thus, even though I was separated from the daily monotony of school, I wasn't able to escape from Oyashiro-sama's shadow. But of course, Oyashiro-sama was the guardian deity of this place, of Hinamizawa. As long as I was in Hinamizawa, I wouldn't be able to escape. Road. Maybe it was because I was walking outside, but my appetite had suddenly returned. I might as well buy a snack with the change from the examination fee on the way home. Contemplating that, I turned onto a familiar street. That moment, I heard a car horn abruptly honk behind me. Was I really walking so far? Was I really walking so far into the middle of the road where I'd be in a car's way? I moved farther off to the side, but the horn was still honking at me. I turned around, peeved. It was Ushi-san. Neighbor-san, good day to you. It was Ushi-san. He stepped out of his car, AC on full blast, and waved at me. What's up today? School on break? Just not feeling well, so I took the day off. I was about to buy lunch and head back home. That's great. I'm just about to get lunch myself. Would you mind going together? If you're not feeling up for it, then don't mind me. I was just going to lie down after going home anyway, and I didn't really have a cold. I doubt you'd want to go eat at one of these local places. Let's go into town. It's a bit of a drive, is that alright? I know a pretty good place. I'd finally begun to I feel like I keep messing up words id or I'd, and it pisses me off. I'd finally begun to understand Ushi-san's roundabout way of saying things. He probably wanted to talk to me about stuff that would be difficult to discuss while in Hinamizawa. And then they did what they said they were going to do. I went with Ushi-san, riding in his frigid car. It was almost as if the bright sunlight outside was a lie. Sorry about calling you so late last night. Did your parents get angry at you? No. I recalled Reina, who had been listening to the phone conversation all that time, separated from me by just the door. Even now in the brightness of the sunlight, the thought still creeped me out. With a big bump that jolted the car, the road connecting to the city changed from dirt to pavement. My head swiveled back with a sudden realization. That's right. This is exactly where Tomatake-san died. They've hit a snag on the investigation regarding Tomatake-san. Oishi-san spoke while peering at me from the corner of his eye. They believed it was caused by hallucinogens, given how he was clawing out his own throat, but a drug that could cause that to happen so suddenly is extremely hard to come by. Bear in mind, of course, the autopsy was done with that premise in mind, but we didn't find any leads. You know that thing you see in comics all the time? Where there's a drug that if you put it in, where there's a drug that if you put it in them, it doesn't leave any traces. It exists. Okay, who cares? Well, it's pretty common, but you see, there doesn't seem to be any kind of drug that would cause Tomatake-san to react like that. Then you're saying the police concluded Tomatake-san just died from the curse? I couldn't help but feel that police were worthless, which they were. I just wanted the idea of a curse to be dissociated from Tomatake-san's mysterious death. Fortunately, that's how it looks right now. But putting aside the cause of death, without a doubt, he was surrounded by a group of people and had taken a beating before he died. That was no curse, but an incident that unquestionably involved other humans. That made me a bit relieved. We passed in front of the rather desolate but still busier than Hinamizawa train station. The car pulled into a restaurant parking lot and I followed Ushi-san into the shop. It was pretty crowded, but there were only adults at this hour. Of course there wouldn't be children in here in the middle of a weekday. 2 please, non-smoking. This way please. When you are ready to order, please call me over. We were led by a peculiarly dressed waitress to our table. I sat with Ushi-san in the booth. So, what do you think? Aren't the waitresses' outfits here cute? Huh? Well, I guess. The shop is always quite busy. It's more about the waitresses and the food, you see. Uh-huh. Ushi-san, you're leering. Am I really? Oh, that was a fun conversation. Regardless of how the waitresses looked, the food was decent enough. Finishing our meals while talking about some inane topic, Ushi-san's after-meal cup of coffee arrived at the table. Yesterday we talked about Hinamizawa's past, didn't we? Yeah, that it was the village of man-eating demons or something like that. I didn't know much about it myself, so I asked my grandmother about it this morning. Oishi-san took out the notepad that was stuffed into his breast pocket. Turns out Hinamizawa used to be called Onigafuchi, or Ogre's Abyss. Onigafuchi. That's quite the name. The name is still around. The marsh where the Shinto priest's wife drowned herself is still called Ogre's Abyss. It's said that the depths of that marsh connect to the realm of demons. Of course, nobody had told me anything about such an ominous marsh. And you see, it appears they were both feared and revered. A respect born of fear. Guess you could say it was a kind of deification. A village of inhuman creatures. Seems the demons were Senin or mountain-dwelling mystics of sorts. Taking villagers with incurable illnesses into the Ogre's Abyss and healing them, for example. Even if we are calling them demons, Tengu, long-nosed goblins, or Senin would be a more apt description. They don't seem like such terrible people, even though they were called demons, but they were still man-eating demons. According to the story my grandma told me, as payment for treating the son's illness, "Let us seek the mother who brought him here," was apparently how things went. The price for curing her son was herself? That's unsettling. Of course, the mother took her son and ran. Then, you see, all the people who lived in Onigafuchi, the demons chased them down, rounded them up, and captured them. The entire village, apparently. That's quite a frightening thing to imagine. In the end, it seems both the mother and son were caught and eaten. The end. There's a problem with this story. Both witnesses in the story were eaten, so nobody would be able to tell the tale. Huh? Wow, there are plenty of old fables like this. In contrast to the ghastly tale, Ushi-san laughed heartily while sipping his coffee. But, well, there are quite a few other tales where the demons from Onigafuchi band together to capture their prey. I recall that Mion said all the villagers united and fought against the damn construction. I saw similarities with how that part about unification overlapped. Normally they hunted down a single person and they chose who it was going to be beforehand. Huh? That caught my attention. Ueshi-san also appeared to be pondering what it meant. My grandmother told me that you must never interfere with the demon's hunt. You should just hole up in your house and hide under the covers. So what does this all mean? It means you mustn't ever help or protect the prey. As long as you don't disturb the demon's hunt, no harm will fall upon the villagers. Seems there's that kind of rule. Basically, don't help the victims. Pretend you didn't see the atrocities, in other words. What happens if you break the rule? Well, they're man-eating demons after all. Many parts of that tale caught my attention. Parts of the story he told me overlapped with his theory that the perpetrators were all the village families. Even if it wasn't the whole village, it was conceivable that the villagers were hiding under the covers and leaving them to die. When there's a group that was on their hunt, wasn't it? I didn't dare speak it. Then Ueshi-san, I guess it looks like it's either the village families or a group of villagers perpetrating the crimes. What do you think, Maibara-san? Excuse me. Another cup of coffee, please? That's what I wanted to know. It seemed that we were both waiting for the other to say that last part. I waited for the waitress to finish pouring the coffee before speaking. Last year, I had a nagging feeling when Satoshi-kun disappeared. Ueshi-san muttered as he watched the milk swirl around in his coffee. So, those friends of Satoshi-san, meaning your group of friends, Maibara-san, I had a bit, really just a little bit, okay, of background checking done on them. If Ueshi-san had said this to me before, I would have been furious since he told me earlier not to suspect my friends. But as I was now, I couldn't. This might sound pretty stupid. Maibara-san, if you feel that it's stupid, please say so. I'll just stop. Ueshi-san was wearing the most serious expression that I've ever seen from him. It was as if he was telling me to prepare myself and listen. There were quite a few things I regretted hearing from Ueshi-san, but none of them were as threatening as this. A little voice inside me was screaming like an alarm. Stop, Keiichi. This was probably the last one. I took a deep breath and silenced that voice. I would not run from the truth. Please. That was all I could utter. Ueshi-san stared into my eyes silently for a few moments. After he was certain I was ready, he began. The victim of the incident in the first year was the overseer. A few weeks prior, he had an altercation with Mion Sonozaki-san. Multiple altercations. Ueshi-san had said before that Mion had defied the dam project vehemently. Well, it wasn't hard to imagine how she'd be if she got worked up. In the second year, the married couple who supported the project died in that accident, right? They had a daughter. Her name is Satoko Hojo-san. Huh? SpongeBob, meaning SpongeBob? Ueshi-san told me that my voice was too loud. I realized it as well and quickly quieted down. The Shinto priest and his wife who died in the third year, you see, their daughter is Rika Furude-san. Rika-chan was the housewife who died in the fourth year, you know already, don't you? It was the step-aunt of Satoko Hojo-san. She was in her aunt and uncle's custody, and as she had lost both of her parents in the accident, she was step-aunt of SpongeBob. She was with her aunt and uncle. Okay, yeah. She lived in the victim's house. I could tell my lips were getting dry. I didn't even have the wits to keep my mouth from hanging agape. I had thought it was nothing but a bizarre incident, one that I could easily distance myself from, but clicking and clacking had snuck all the way to my feet. The one who disappeared in the 4th year, by the way, he was SpongeBob's older brother. What, wait a second. Took everything I had to finally say that. I gulped down a glass of water and once again wiped my face with a napkin. Calm down, Keiji Maibara. But Oishi-san was relentless. Instead of waiting for me to finish sorting out my feelings, he started speaking again. The last of the things I shouldn't have heard. All of the victims seem to be connected to your group of friends. That has to be just a coincidence. Maibara-san, keep it down. Everyone is looking. Neon, SpongeBob, Rika-chan. So what if they're connected? You're telling me all of my friends? It couldn't be. It just couldn't be. Oh, Reina is different, isn't she? Reina isn't connected with the victims at all. Reina Ryugu-san was living in a suburb of Ibaraki Prefecture up until last year. Well, it's true she hadn't directly met any of the victims. He said it in a roundabout way. Is he saying she's also connected? Actually, I looked into her. Before Ryugu-san moved away to Hinamizawa, she was suspended from school. It seems she went through her school building and broke all of the windows. Reina did that? She broke all the windows at her school? That same silly Reina had... Couldn't even imagine it. It seemed that after her 3-day suspension, she didn't return to school. She went to a neurologist and was diagnosed with dysautonomia. She was given weeks of counseling and medication. Dysautonomia. Dysfunction where she automatically does things. I suppose. I wonder if it was something like a nervous breakdown. I heard that it happens to people who are really methodical or overly sensitive. Neither of those match Reina's easygoing personality. And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all of the conservations he had with Reina-san. It shows up, and quite a bit after that. What did? Press forward carelessly. There couldn't be anything more for me to regret. She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama. It felt like someone's stone-cold hands were caressing my back. Why? Why had Reina spoken of Oyashiro-sama before she even came to Hinamizawa? It seemed that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost appearing in her house every night. Standing over her pillow, looking down at her, my mind froze. I couldn't process what I was being told. That's what the log looks like, by the way. A while after that, she moved to Hinamizawa. That's right. She's not an outsider. Huh? According to their residency register, the Ryugu family used to reside in Hinamizawa. They left the pickles behind. Reina-san moved to Ibaraki right after she finished elementary school. My mind went completely blank. It was similar to the static you'd see on a blank TV channel. My ears began ringing as I lost all sense of comprehension. Maibara-san, are you alright? Shall we stop? Those words brought me back. I couldn't let it end here. Now I understand Reina. Then how about the last victim, Tomatake-san? Who was he connected with? Irritated, I let out one final reprisal. It has to be me or I guess everyone, I suppose. All of them. Indeed. Have you forgotten me, Bar-san? Didn't you all spend the night of the festival together quite merrily? Quite a few of the officers saw you enjoying yourselves. Now there was nothing I could respond with. I fell silent as my brain turned to mush. We should get going. Maibara-san, did you take your afternoon medicine? I'd completely forgotten about the medicine I'd gotten today until Shi-san said that. I got another glass of water and we left the shop after I chugged it down. I chugged it down. We got in the car and returned to Hinamizawa via the rough road. I never really paid attention when I was on my bike, but did cars normally shake this much? It was almost as if the road was desperately trying to tell me something. But that big jolt was from the difference in elevation of the road when it changed from cement to dirt. I was certain that I heard Tomitake-san scream. I sat in silence, just letting myself be shaken by the car. I'll drop you off at your house. You missed school because you were ill, correct? My apologies for the long conversation. Why did you talk to me? I blurted out the question. Really just blurted it out. I didn't expect an answer. I did check with you first, didn't I? We should just stop. Not that. Why did you reach out to me? I understood quite well that Oishi-san was investigating the string of suspicious incidents, but why was he telling me all this? I knew nothing, and I couldn't help. Everything Oishi-san spoke of was news to me. First of all, what could I, having just moved here, know? By chance, if there was a reason for Oishi-san to reach out to me, then it would have to be that I looked suspicious to Oishi-san, and I was part of Mion's circle of friends. I'm retiring this year. Plan on moving away after retiring as my grandma wants. So, while I'm still on the case, I want to bring the truth behind this incident to light. So, Oishi-san, you suspect them, don't you? All of them. Oishi-san didn't really give a response. Felt a little late, but I thought it was his way of showing a bit of consideration for my feelings. This is mostly my intuition from 30 years on the job. Meibara-san, you're the one in danger. Huh? I wanted to reply with, that's absurd, but in my downtrodden state, I couldn't bring myself to say it. I'll be retiring this year, so I won't be at the Watanagashi next year. So I want to settle things. In other words, Sue Mari. He was insinuating that on the next Watanagashi, I might be the next victim. I've been warned by the chief as well. Each incident in the string of cases has been solved, so don't bring it up again. Or so I was told. This is the pressure that I'm facing. Pressure from what? Someone in Hinamizawa. We've arrived. Is this fine? After some time, the car finally reached the path to my house. The clock read 2 p.m. I was surprised, so little time had passed since we ate. It was hot outside the car. The chirping of the Higurashi, they had to say it. They always have to say it, hurt my ears. I won't mind if you just forgot everything I told you today, but I'm still going to keep investigating. I'll end Oyashiro-sama's curse this year. So, you're saying I should contact you if anything happens? It's fine. Just contact me when you feel you have to, Meibara-san. I wasn't collecting enough to understand Oishi-san's roundabout way of saying it. Be sure to take it easy. I'm sorry for throwing this at you while you're taking the day off because you're sick. I didn't really give any sort of response. I'll always be on your side. If anything, believe that. We'll be off now. The tires crunched over the dirt. Crunched over the dirt road as the car made a U-turn, disappeared into a cloud of kicked-up dust. Felt like I was watching a boat only throw me a lifesaver in shark-infested waters before disappearing into the distance. That was the first time I thought Ueshi-san was being unfair, telling me I was going to be the next victim than just saying to contact him if something happened. This wasn't a criminal investigation. He was fishing, and I was just the bait dangling off the line. Would the fish be the perpetrator, or was it really just Ayashiro-sama's curse? Either way, the bait would be swallowed whole. Damn it, I don't want to die. For some time, I could do nothing but stare at the puddle of water left behind by the AC from the car. And that's the end of everything. I'll stop for right now. Ooh, unless there's more tips. Unless there's more tips. Tips, please. Fuck!
No.